Hi, I'm Lianne Kim, and this is The Business of Thinking Big, the podcast where we talk all things business mindset, strategy, and hustle. So, if you're looking to grow your revenue, serve more dream clients, and create amazing new possibilities, then you, my friend, are in the right place. Stay tuned. Before we get into today's topic, I want to give a listener shout out. This week, I want to recognize Natalie Amlani, who left a review on iTunes. Natalie says, "Your insights and tips are so insightful and helpful. I am now focusing on my mindset for success and setting my goals. I love the way you break it down and share your personal anecdotes." Natalie, I am so grateful that you feel that way, and thank you so much for taking the time to leave a review. And if you'd like to be featured on the show, I invite you to head on over to wherever you listen to this podcast, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and take a moment to rate and review the show. Did you know that podcasters absolutely love it when you leave them a review? It helps other amazing people just like you find the show. So I would so very much appreciate it if you would leave us a review, and maybe you will get featured on the show. Well, hey there, and welcome to another episode of The Business of Thinking Big. I am your host and business coach, Lianne Kim, and today we are totally going to be thinking big. We're talking about thinking big and thinking small, because today we're talking about moving from doubt or fear or worry to confidence. And the reason why I'm recording this today is because that's what you all told me you wanted to hear. So a while back, I polled my audience. I did that via email and in some of the groups that I'm in on Facebook. And I asked you what you guys wanted to listen to or learn about. And the number 2 answers were business strategy and mindset and confidence. So don't worry, there's lots more business strategy coming your way. I've got some really juicy episodes lined up. However, I wanted to dedicate one of my episodes this summer solely to the area of mindset and confidence, because as you all know, if you listen back to my very first episode, I believe that being successful and having a happy and fulfilling and successful life comes from 3 places. The first is having the mindset, right? So working on the mindset piece. The second one is the strategy. And the third one is taking action. And I believe if we're continuously working on all 3 areas, that's when we start to find true fulfillment and true success. But oftentimes we're focusing on the strategy and the tactics in our business. So that's why I polled you guys. I really wanted to know from you what you wanted to learn about. And you all said, number 1 or 2, you said, I want to learn about more confidence strategies, working on my mindset. So that's why I'm doing this today, because I think it's really important. And I know it's really important to train our mindset regularly. And to work on this just like we would work on, our bodies. If we were trying to lose weight, we would be working on our bodies. We would be working on how we eat and how we move our body and gaining strength. So that's what we need to do with mindset. We need to train it just like we would if we were trying to achieve anything else in life. And I can say from experience, after thousands of hours of coaching female entrepreneurs, sometimes we can let our thoughts run away from us. Sometimes we can let our mindset kind of fall to the wayside and run amok. And really, when we're talking about confidence, we are talking about thoughts and feelings. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, I can't control the way I feel. It just is. I feel the way I want to feel. Now, I'm going to challenge that, but let's just say that is true. we might not be able to control our feelings, but we can control what we're thinking. And when we control what we're thinking, that will naturally change how we're feeling. Because again, I hear from a lot of you that we start to just associate ourselves with our thoughts, right? We start to feel the way we're feeling because of how we're thinking. And we feel like that's just us. It's just the way it is. Or these thoughts just happen to me. I can't control them. I'm just thinking these thoughts. They just come into my mind. Okay. And we call that the monkey mind. And the monkey mind can have a grand old time if we let it. And that's why it's so important to be more mindful and more intentional about what we're thinking. So today, when we're talking about moving from doubt to confidence, we're talking about these two very different states of being. But each of these states of being are a choice. That's right. So when you feel worry or doubt or fear or scarcity, we are choosing to feel that way. We are choosing to think thoughts that make us feel that way. On the flip side, when you feel confident, when you feel at the top of your game, that is because you have chosen to feel that way. So oftentimes we look at people who look super confident online. Maybe it's our competitors or our mentors. And we think, wow, she's so confident. And we think that this is something that she's just born with, right? She's just born confident. And in fact, this is what I hear a lot of. And I think that's because I do a lot of speaking and I'm, very visible online, and people think, wow, you've really mastered this whole confidence thing. And the funny part is I totally have not mastered it, but I do work on it. I'm intentional about it. And I do want people to think of me as someone who is confident, who is a leader, somebody who is making bold moves in their life, in their business, because I want to inspire others to do the same. But I want to be really honest with you guys today and say, I don't always feel confident. And in fact, I'm going to share with you some of my biggest doubts and worries and concerns in a minute. But what I really want you to grasp before we even begin here is that, how you are feeling is a choice. And we get to choose if we want to stay in doubt or if we want to move to confidence. So that's really important that we start things off on that note today, because I want you guys to feel empowered. Listen, I do not want this episode to be really heavy because we're talking about worry and doubt. I want it to feel really exciting. And I'm going to give you guys some exercises as well that you'll be able to do now or later, whenever you choose, that I think are going to be really helpful, that are going to get you into action here, so that we make these concepts come to life for you. And I basically divided this episode up into 3 chunks. The first chunk is we're going to define that worry and doubt. We're going to really look at what doubt looks like for you. Then we're going to look at the opposite. We're going to look at confidence and what that feels like for you. And then the last section, we're going to look at moving from doubt to confidence and some of the actions that I think you can take on the regular that are going to help you in this department. So let's dive in. So right off the bat, I want to look at defining what worry or doubt looks like. And here's the deal. What it looks like for each one of us is different for every single person. However, as I have polled you as well, I've polled my audience, I have found that there are a lot of the same themes that come up, and I'm going to share some of those in a minute. But before I go there, before I start to share with you all of the common doubts and fears, I want you to do this first exercise first. And the reason is I don't want those doubts to become the things that you acknowledge here, because they may not be yours. All right. So we want to start with where you are at right now. And if you're listening to this, probably a good idea to grab a notebook and pen. And you're going to jot down some ideas. In fact, I'm going to borrow this exercise from Brooke Castillo of the Life Coach School. She calls this first exercise a thought download, which I totally love. And I have been doing this every single day for the past few weeks myself. And so what you're going to do is you're going to pause this episode in a minute. You're just going to hit pause and you are going to write down